A pro wrestler named Genzo got summoned into this fantasy world by unorthodox means not involving deer truck kun. Despite his love for animals, his destiny was to slay monsters inhabiting the realm, so he rejected that destiny and took to raising the monsters as pets instead. It was time for the big match between Animal Mask and Macadamian Ogre to see who would become the world champion and send their opponent to the dentist's for the weekend. Genzo was getting ready for the fight in his room, hoping to win so he could level up like a video game. His manager, Big Sago, came in, but Genzo wanted to focus and asked him not to butt in. Big Sago still wanted to know what Genzo would do after becoming champion, but left before Genzo could answer. Genzo kept talking to himself about his plans, like opening a pet shop and living with animals, before heading to the ring. During the fight with Macadamian Ogre, Genzo ended up on the top rope. When he jumped, he and his pet Hiroyuki suddenly disappeared and ended up in a different place. Someone's been doing Truck Kun's job without his permission. Genzo met Princess Altina Elgard Radies, who thought he was a hero, and asked for his help to defeat some bad creatures and the Demon King. In a mix-up, Genzo accidentally knocked her out.
Let's go!
This made the guards angry, so Genzo covered the princess with his cape and ran away. As he walked around town, people ran away from his incredible Hulk appearance. Genzo realized it was because of his mask, so he took it off, but then people started calling him names because he was naked. Still confused about where he was, Genzo decided to focus on finding food for the night. He was approached by Misha and Wolfgang von Kraftmann, who thought they could sell his pet Hiroyuki. Genzo got excited when he saw Misha's animal ears, then got even more excited when he saw Wolfgang. They tried to leave, but Genzo got carried away and ended up causing a fuss. Eventually, Genzo noticed a girl with wolf ears crying because she was going to be sold. He stopped the sale by suplexing the wine out of the cellar. Afterward, Genzo decided to talk to the girl. Genzo thought Shiger was going to be sold as a slave, but she explained that she owed money to the man trying to sell her. She had borrowed money to start a business, but it failed like all of Naruto's attempts to pull Sakura. When she couldn't pay it back, she told him to sell her to cover the debt, and after begging and crying for days, he agreed. Since Shiger was broke, she took Genzo to a hunter guild to earn some money. At the guild, Genzo talked about how much he loved animals. The guild master was unsure about what to do with the incredible animal-loving Hulk until they received news of Cerberuses attacking. Genzo got excited and went to deal with them. When they reached the Cerberuses, Genzo was thrilled to see their 3 heads, thinking it would be triple the fun. He charged at them, identified the leader, and pinned it. He started playing with them and managed to tame them. Back at the guild, they were rewarded well for handling the Cerberuses. Genzo then told Shiger that he wanted to show people how good the demon beasts were and that they could understand each other. Genzo kept talking about how he would make everyone friends with the beasts like some spirit animal stuff, not noticing that people around him were complaining about the dangers and injuries the beasts had caused. He told Shiger about his plan to open a pet shop, but she was surprised because she didn't know what that was. She did look like she belonged there though. Genzo explained that he would raise and train demon beasts so they could live with humans.
What?
Shiger was doubtful at first, but when she heard that they could take on quests related to capturing beasts, earn rewards, and then sell the trained beasts for a profit, she got interested. The idea of making a lot of money convinced her to help with the pet shop. Anything to make Mr. Krabs proud. Genzo looked for a quest to take on and found a book with information about beasts. Another guild member called him a demon beast killer because of the 5 Cerberuses he defeated. This made Genzo angry, and he punched the man, insisting he was an animal wrestler, not a beast killer. Needing money quickly to start the pet shop, Genzo chose the quest with the biggest reward, which involved defeating a salamander. Overhearing this, Keidru, the guild's strongest member, offered to join forces and split the reward for killing the salamander. Genzo, furious at the idea of killing the beast, grabbed Keidru and slammed him into the wall, telling him never to suggest such a thing again. Before they left, Shiger noticed Keidru's sword on the ground, pretended someone had forgotten it, and claimed it as her own. She was a master of the secret finder's keeper's move. Genzo and Shiger went to deal with the salamander but quickly made friends with it instead, naming it Yoshiko. They returned to the guild to claim the reward. The clerk, seeing their success, called Genzo the demon beast killer, which annoyed Genzo, making him turn the clerk into his punching bag, and he asked never to be called that again. Meanwhile, Misha wanted to go out and cause trouble, but Wolfgang, remembering what Genzo had done to him, thought it was safer to stay inside. Just then, Genzo and Shiger walked in, scaring the alpha out of Wolfgang. Shiger wanted to meet Edgar, but since he was away, she left the monthly payment she owed him with Misha. Hanako was looking at a magazine about desserts when she was called for dinner. She was annoyed that the meal was again goblin, troll, and orc meat, wishing for something tastier, like a McDonald's or something. Genzo and Shiger's next quest involved dealing with soldier monkeys. Genzo offered them apples from his bag, and they quickly became his friends. With many demon beasts under his care, Genzo worried someone might steal them, so they needed a secure place. They took on a new quest with a high reward involving orcs. Although Genzo wasn't excited since orcs looked human, the money convinced him. When they reached the orc village, Genzo challenged the orc king and dropped the dropkick bomb on him right away. After a tough fight, Genzo defeated the orc king with a German suplex, and the other orcs declared him the new king. The next morning, Genzo left, putting the defeated orc king back in charge. Back at the guild, Genzo had enough money to buy a place but decided to get a loan from the government. He was shocked to learn he needed 20% of the sum up front. Meanwhile, Hanako escaped her castle and was drooling over the window of a candy shop. Genzo and Shiger now had a house, but it was full of crates and freeloading animals that don't pay rent. Shiger complained there was no more room, but Genzo said they had to manage until they sold the animals. Since food was expensive, Shiger went to sell some swords and look for high-paying quests. Genzo was fixing the roof when a wolf woman neighbor visited. He got excited and tried to riz her up as the master of riz that he happened to be. This made her happy but uncomfortable, so she left. Then, he heard Hiroyuki barking and found a girl named Hanako with horns passed out in the bushes. Her stomach growled like she could out-eat Naruto at Ikaraku's, so he took her inside. When she woke up, Genzo offered her some fish. Surprised that he wasn't scared of her horns, Hanako introduced herself as half-dragon. She almost ate Hiroyuki, thinking he was the food, but Genzo corrected her. After eating the fish, Hanako saw all the animals, thinking Genzo's pet shop was a restaurant. He explained it wasn't, and when she got excited about eating Hiroyuki, he quickly took him back. Genzo then asked her to read about half-dragons from his book, but she saw it was on the dragon's page and left in a hurry. Shiger returned, and she could sense that a dragon was nearby through smell. She scolded Genzo for bringing a dragon home when they were as broke as Patrick Star on a good day, but he explained he just fed a half-dragon girl. Shiger had news of a high-paying quest, so they went to see the guild master. The master spoke about a mysterious person attacking people at night. Genzo wasn't interested until another guild member said it was a demon beast. The man showed a bite on his neck, saying it was a dragon. Heat-Haze then barged in, wanting to become a dragon slayer. Genzo spammed his drop kick again, making him drop his sword, which Shiger took. Genzo and Shiger investigated the attack scene. Shiger smelled the same dragon scent. Genzo got his animal mask and set a trap in town. Hanako got caught in it. Villagers saw them and called Genzo a bad cultured man because he was on default skin with a mask and had a chick in a cage. They ran away together. Hanako explained she just twisted the bars and ran because Genzo wanted to ask her something. Then, Carmilla Vanstein appeared, telling Genzo to get away from Hanako. Genzo and Hanako threw rocks at her, and when she attacked Genzo, he overpowered her. They left as villagers approached. Genzo decided Hanako needed a mask so they wouldn't look suspicious. They pretended to be a normal masked couple with fake names. They met Shiger, who recognized Genzo but played along. Another guild member came, so Shiger took Genzo and Hanako home. At home, Genzo took off his mask, surprising Hanako. He explained that with the mask, he's Animal Mask, and people don't recognize him. Hanako decided to tell him everything, but Shiger tried to stop her. Hanako revealed she was from the Fafnir family, one of the 4 serving the Demon King. Carmilla appeared, confused about the masked person who defeated her. Hanako said they had nothing to do with it and would return to the castle. Carmilla insisted she had to send humans to Jesus to protect the Fafnir family's secret. Shiger gave Genzo holy water to use against Carmilla. He splashed it on her, causing pain, then put garlic in her mouth, but Hanako begged for forgiveness for Carmilla, explaining she was just trying to take her home. Genzo asked Hanako why she ran away. She said it was mainly because she wanted to try better food. She offered to help with the pet shop to stay close to Hiroyuki. Shiger said they couldn't afford to hire anyone, but Hanako said she didn't need money, just food and shelter, so Shiger hired her. They decided to keep calling her Hanako. Genzo asked if she was the one attacking people, but Hanako said she wasn't interested in eating people. Carmilla confessed she was the one attacking, searching for Hanako. Genzo then knocked her out with a German suplex. Princess Altina wandered through her castle, feeling embarrassed because soldiers were mocking her, calling her Princess Rice Cakes, the good kind too. She received news that the hero couldn't be found. Meanwhile, Shigeru was working hard, arranging boxes of roses while Carmilla and Hanako slacked off like Mordecai and Rigby. Genzo, on the other hand, was spending money on lavish food for the animals. Shigeru complained at the guild bar about Genzo bringing more mouths to feed. On her way home, she saw Genzo feeding a cat and asking it to stay with him forever. Miss Cobbled approached, but Genzo's over-the-top affection made her uncomfortable. Shigeru refused Carmilla's request for money to hire an artist for Hanako's portrait. Genzo then asked for money to buy things for the new cat, but Shigeru simply tossed the cat away. Klaus arrived for the loan payment deadline, but Genzo forgot and they didn't have the money. Klaus cancelled the loan. Genzo rallied everyone to work harder, but only Shigeru succeeded. They ended up with less money than before. The guild master offered them the Griffin quest. Shigeru showed the quest to Genzo, who eagerly accepted it. Heat Haze overheard and wanted to join. He showed off his new holy sword, but Genzo knocked him out. Carmilla initially refused to go on the quest, but Hanako's enthusiasm changed her mind. During the quest, they learned about the Griffin's brutal practice of making their chicks fight, keeping only the winner. Genzo intervened when he saw two chicks fighting, rescuing the loser. The adult Griffins attacked, and although Carmilla tried to fight, she was easily defeated. Genzo prioritized protecting the baby Griffin over Carmilla, noting she didn't have animal features or pay rent. When the Griffins caught up to them, Genzo and Hanako fought while Shigeru escaped with the baby Griffin. Genzo tried to befriend one of the Griffins by rubbing its head.
Ah, you're teasing me! Naughty, naughty!
But got knocked out. Hanako, overcome by her weird, very much questionable affinity to taste Griffin meat, bit one but didn't like the taste. She then grabbed Carmilla and Genzo and fled. Back at their house, Hanako arrived and Jig took Carmilla to be buried in impure soil to speed up her revival. Since they didn't defeat the Griffin, they didn't receive the reward. Kyoko, the baby Griffin, grew up, much to Genzo's excitement and Shigeru's concern over the increased cost of feeding it. Shigeru went to the bar to vent but was pleased to learn she had sold the legendary weapons she took from Heat Haze for a good price. Mao was in his room gearing up for the big showdown with Animal Mask. Memories flooded back of his past training sessions, always ending in defeat against his rival. But this time, he was determined to emerge victorious. As they clashed in the ring, Animal Mask suddenly vanished mid-fight, leaving Mao stunned like he was hit by a flash grenade. News of Animal Mask's disappearance spread rapidly, stirring up a frenzy. Mao addressed the media, challenging Animal Mask to face him and accusing him of cowardice for fleeing the fight, fearing a loss. Days passed, marked by Mao's somber mood and refusal to engage in matches with anyone else, consumed by thoughts of his elusive rival. He found solace in repeatedly listening to Animal Mask's entrance music, longing for their next encounter. Meanwhile, Genzo was keeping watch over the new animal, wanting to be there when it woke up so it wouldn't feel lonely. However, Shigeru insisted he go do some work, reluctantly tearing him away from the creature. They left the house, leaving Hiroyuki behind. Without them knowing, Wolfgang and Misha were lurking nearby, waiting for them to depart. Wolfgang devised a plan to kidnap and sell Hiroyuki as revenge for Genzo's previous actions against him. He intended to lure Hiroyuki with meat while Misha would grab him, and then they would hit the road faster than Sonic holding a ring. While on a quest, Genzo and the group struggled to locate the plant they were searching for. Genzo expressed a sudden feeling to return, claiming a bad feeling, but Shigeru dismissed his concern, suspecting he simply lacked interest in the plant. Meanwhile, at Edgar's place, Edgar returned to find Misha and Wolfgang sprawled on the ground. Perplexed, he inquired about the situation, and Misha recounted their failed attempt to kidnap Hiroyuki. Despite their plan to lure Hiroyuki with meat, Wolfgang became enamored with the creature, and began playing with him instead. Suddenly, Jig appeared, making Misha flee, but Wolfgang was caught and subjected to some unsettling experiences that left him traumatized once more. In the forest, a cry caught their attention, and Shigeru recognized it as the Dradradagola they were seeking. Pointing in the direction of the sound, Genzo dashed off in excitement, believing they had found demon beasts. However, his excitement turned to disappointment when he realized they were merely plants. Despite Shigeru's attempt to convince him of their cuteness, Genzo remained unconvinced. Their argument was interrupted when they noticed the cries had ceased, and they discovered Hanako had devoured all the Dradradagolas. Returning home, Jig informed them of Hiroyuki's near kidnapping and presented a drawing of Wolfgang and Misha. Enraged, Genzo stormed to Edgar's place, initially willing to forgive them due to their fluffy appearance, but their attempt on Hiroyuki changed his mind, leading him to confront and beat Wolfgang. Meanwhile, Joanna received permission from the Demon King to summon a counterpart from another world to combat the hero summoned by Altina. With her ritual complete, Mao popped up like an ad as the summoned Demon King. As Joanna summoned Mao, she introduced herself and asked for his help in defeating the hero summoned by Altina. Showing him a poster of the hero, Mao burst into laughter like he was watching Sakura think she caught up to Naruto and Sasuke. He claimed he had found where Animal Mask was hiding. Joanna was surprised by Mao's familiarity with Animal Mask, making Mao suggest there was more to their relationship than mere acquaintance. Joanna remarked that with her hatred combined with Mao's, the power of the dark side would flourish, potentially leading to their victory over their enemy, Hanako. She reminisced about her past training, where she had been told she might emerge victorious in the next tournament. However, during the tournament, she was quickly put in her place by Hanako. Despite requesting a rematch, Hanako was more interested in eating, so Joanna offered her lunch instead. Despite their subsequent fights, Joanna continued to lose to Hanako repeatedly. This defeat fueled Joanna's obsession with Hanako, leading her to observe her closely in an attempt to understand her strength. Years later, at a party, Hanako failed to recognize Joanna, further adding to Joanna's frustration. Joanna talked about Carmilla, explaining that she was a lesser vampire. She suggested to Hanako that she could have a better servant, planning to send an elder vampire who would find Hanako's weaknesses. However, Hanako declined the offer. Instead, Joanna proposed a challenge for Hanako to face Rose, stating that if she won, Joanna would accept Carmilla. Hanako agreed quickly because she wanted to attend the party and munch up all their sustenance. Later, at a quiet place, Rose and Carmilla began to fight. Carmilla fought well but ultimately lost. She then clung to Rose's skirt, refusing to let go and insisting that she couldn't lose. Rose, feeling embarrassed, tried to get her to release her grip. Hanako intervened and asked for the fight to stop. Joanna then promised to arrange for a better elder vampire to serve Hanako, but Hanako surprised her by insisting that she still wanted to keep Carmilla. Finally, Joanna asked Hanako to kneel, and to Joanna's surprise, Hanako complied. After what she considered her first victory over Hanako, Joanna left the scene. On their way back, their cart suddenly stopped. Joanna and Rose went to investigate and found Hanako. She apologized for Carmilla's performance, acknowledging that although Carmilla seemed useless, she was still trying her best for Hanako. Hanako admitted that she considered Carmilla precious and didn't want to lose her. Joanna thought Hanako might want them to keep Carmilla's defeat a secret. However, to their surprise, Hanako removed her clothes and transformed into a dragon, challenging Joanna to a fight. Both Joanna and Rose were terrified by the sight of Hanako's transformation. Despite their fear, Hanako emerged victorious, dunking on them both. Currently, Joanna mentioned that Hanako had left her castle as soon as the hero arrived. Joanna speculated that Hanako went after the hero to seek glory for herself. Determined to find and defeat the hero before Hanako could, Joanna set out on her mission. Meanwhile, Genzo was urging Carmilla to leave the soil and start working. However, Carmilla preferred to stay longer to fully recover. Reflecting on her usefulness during the last quest, Carmilla believed she had contributed, but Genzo bluntly reminded her that she had been instantly eaten. Seals entered the pet shop, claiming to be a hunter looking for Genzo, whom she referred to as the demon beast killer. Genzo decided to stand on business and generously shared with her a chop to the head and a leg lock, causing her to apologize in pain.
Women.
Carmilla empathized with Seal's suffering, knowing firsthand the agony of Genzo's techniques. Genzo questioned Seals' presence, and she explained that the guild master had praised Genzo's strength, sparking her interest in becoming his student. Despite her persistent offers, Genzo initially refused, suggesting she return when she resembled a kobold, which irked Seals. She continued to beg, even offering herself as repayment, but Genzo remained unmoved, as it seemed she wasn't worth more than stuff out of the 99-cent store. However, when Genzo accidentally discovered Seals' lizard-like scales, he reconsidered and agreed to train her. Genzo focused solely on training Seals' scale-covered areas, with Carmilla and others joining in her training. Once Genzo deemed her sufficiently trained, he bestowed upon her a mask, dubbing her Seals 50. Although she accepted it initially, Seals soon discarded the mask, realizing it wasn't what she truly sought. When asked why she sought training from Genzo, Seals explained her desire for strength. This angered Genzo, causing him to storm the guild and confront the hunters. In his fury, Genzo began confronting and going Hulk smash on the hunters one by one, causing chaos in the guild. However, when Seals clarified that the hunters had only been teasing her and not engaging in inappropriate behavior, Genzo's anger subsided. The guild master apologized for the misunderstanding, and Seals, having gained perspective through her training with Genzo, forgave them. Despite this, Genzo insisted on having Seals as his student to fight the guild members, eventually persuading her to agree under the belief that he genuinely cared for her. Seals engaged in a heated battle with a guild member, employing all the techniques she had learned from Genzo. She even tried a provocative pose taught by Carmilla, but it only angered her opponent, who managed to disarm her during the fight. However, Seals seized an opening when her opponent raised his hands to strike and executed a German suplex, concluding the fight in a tie. Despite the fighters' agreement to rematch, Genzo was dissatisfied, feeling that the guild member had unjustly targeted a demihuman and evaded consequences with a mere apology. The guild members explained their frustration, giving stories about a mysterious ghost dude disrupting their quests and releasing captured beasts. They soon realized this figure was none other than the wrestler Riz Lord Genzo. Initially taken aback, Genzo eventually accepted their explanation and asked Seals to forgive them. Returning home, Shigeru confronted Genzo about his actions, but he claimed ignorance. Shigeru then connected the dots, realizing that the influx of new beasts in their home was linked to Genzo's activities. Soon after, Klaus approached them with a proposal for a fighting tournament, offering payment for Genzo's participation. Excited by the prospect, Genzo eagerly accepted the offer. Klaus had set up a wrestling ring just like Genzo wanted, and when Genzo checked it out, he gave it the legendary thumbs up honor. However, Genzo felt like something was missing, and he realized it was animals. Shigeru explained they couldn't have animals in the tournament, but Genzo wouldn't budge. He insisted they needed to throw a jungle party. Klaus then suggested they use beastmen as wrestlers instead. Genzo liked the idea because he could wrestle them as much as he wanted. Miss Kobold showed up, and Genzo started showering her with compliments. When she mentioned her husband, Genzo got an idea. He told her he was going to her house. Miss Kobold thought he was going to fight her husband to win her over, so she followed him. When they got to her house, Mr. Kobold returned and found Genzo staring at him.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
Genzo didn't say much, just mentioned that Mr. Kobold had a well-built body. Miss Kobold tried to stop them from fighting over her, but Mr. Kobold realized she was spending too much time getting ready for him. They ended up fighting, and Genzo won. Then, he told Mr. Kobold he could be a great wrestler. Remembering his past dreams, Mr. Kobold decided to follow that dream again and join Genzo. Wolfgang was scared to leave their house because he was afraid of running into Genzo. Misha tried to calm him down and promised they would avoid Genzo. But then, Genzo showed up. He asked Wolfgang to be a pro wrestler and fight him, but Wolfgang refused out of fear. Seeing Wolfgang so scared, Misha asked if she could become a pro wrestler too. Genzo agreed after looking at her tail and ears. As they left, Genzo and Shigeru saw the orcs planting flowers and trees to help the town. Back at home, Genzo saw Carmilla admiring Hanako's dress and Hanako eating the animals' food. So, he decided to include them in the tournament too. Heat Haze wasn't sure what being a pro wrestler meant, but he was ready to join the quest with his new weapon. However, once again, Genzo beat him, and Shigeru took his weapon. Genzo explained what pro wrestling was all about and let them practice. But he wasn't satisfied with their fighting, so he emphasized the need for entertaining fights. On the day of the tournament, Genzo was tired from spending so much time teaching everyone how to wrestle and writing scripts for the announcers. Hanako was excited for the wrong reasons, of course, just to stuff her face more. But when she saw Shigeru's stand only selling merchandise, she was disappointed as she had no purpose in life anymore and was as good as useless. As the matches started, Hanako got disqualified for trying to eat the kobold, so she ended up as a commentator, mostly talking about which parts of the orcs looked tasty. Genzo still felt like something was missing, like the rivalries and drama you see in wrestling. Then came the main event, where Carmilla teamed up with Genzo to face Misha and Heat Haze. Genzo and Carmilla were ready to pull off a cool move together, but Carmilla accidentally hit Genzo, leading to an argument between them. Misha and Heat Haze tried to take advantage of the situation, but Genzo and Carmilla turned the tables on them. As the fight went on, Edgar noticed Wolfgang in the crowd. He had to step in for Heat Haze, and Misha was thrilled, thinking they'd get revenge. However, Carmilla easily defeated Misha, while Wolfgang once again found himself in an uncomfortable situation with Genzo. In the end, Genzo and Carmilla emerged victorious. After the tournament, they all went to party at the guild. Klaus said they made a lot of money, which made Shigeru happy. But then the vendors came asking for payment for the food, broken stands, and the party itself. They ended up spending all the money they had won, leaving Shigeru furious. Carmilla was enjoying her meal when Genzo asked her to work. She refused, saying she only took orders from Hanako. Genzo then asked her to walk Hiroyuki, but she refused again and threw food at him. Genzo performed a wrestling move on her, and she finally agreed. He told her that Hiroyuki was very valuable and she should call him Mr. Hiroyuki. After the walk, Carmilla complained that some kids made fun of her, but no one paid attention. Altina then entered, accusing Genzo of exposing her buttocks to the nobility. Hanako and Carmilla immediately took him down, with Carmilla wanting to kill him. Shigeru suggested Genzo turn himself in, but he insisted he didn't know Altina. When he finally recognized her as the one who summoned him, he suplexed her again, revealing her buttocks to everyone. Meanwhile, Joanna was traveling with Mao and Rose. She told Mao that the hero Genzo had defeated a herd of griffins and enslaved the orcs. They were stopped by Ayutis demanding a toll. Mao defeated them with wrestling moves, impressing Joanna. Rose was curious about the techniques, and Joanna claimed they were assassination techniques from another world. Mao then saw a creature resembling Hiroyuki and turned pale. Altina was embarrassed that her buttocks were exposed again. She introduced herself as a princess seeking the hero. Carmilla argued with Altina, doubting that Genzo was a hero and calling him an animal-loving plot seeker, basically a furry. Altina insisted he come with her to defeat the Demon King. Genzo refused, saying he wouldn't fight the leader of the demon beasts, and wanted to open his pet shop first. Altina, unable to summon another hero until the current one dies, called her guards, but they were easily defeated by Genzo. He performed a rolling cradle on Altina, revealing her buttocks once more. Joanna gathered her army and gave it to Mao, who thought he could control them easily. He saw the Hiroyuki-looking creature again and turned pale. Altina kept asking Genzo to defeat the Demon King, but each request ended with her buttocks exposed due to Genzo's moves. She explained that her knights were defeated, leaving her no choice but to keep asking. Later, Genzo felt down and Shigeru asked why. He said he couldn't stop thinking about the Demon King and what kind of animal he would be. Shigeru suggested he ask the guild. There, Heat wanted to join Genzo in defeating the Demon King but was knocked out again. Genzo corrected people calling him a hero, insisting he was a wrestler. Genzo learned nothing about the Demon King. Hanako realized Genzo might be the hero and warned Carmilla. Carmilla lied about the Demon King's appearance to deter Genzo. Genzo believed her and refused to fight the cute Demon King. Altina revealed the Demon King armies had summoned a new Demon King from another world, making Genzo curious about the new one. Mao attacked the orc village, seeking Genzo. The orc king refused to reveal Genzo's location. Genzo went to find the Demon King armies but found no trace. Shigeru smelled they had passed recently. Two orcs informed Genzo of the situation and the orc king's defeat. They showed a picture of the attacker, Mao, the Demon King from another world. Shigeru was preparing for bed when a group of frightening people showed up outside and kidnapped Hiroyuki. The next morning, Shigeru greeted Genzo but found him talking to an empty bowl of food while Carmilla snored on the floor. Hanako found a package on the floor and started eating it, and Shigeru went to make breakfast. Suddenly, Princess Altina strutted in and approached Genzo. She became Carmilla's alarm clock, using her as a welcome footmat and waking her up. She tried to assert her authority over him, but Genzo didn't care about her rank or status. He even forgot her name and called her Catherine, and she had to remind him she was the princess of the village. He still didn't care. She begged him to at least protect the citizens, but Genzo, disinterested, refused.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Shigeru commented that the princess was acting like an obsessive stalker, which Altina didn't like. Altina asked for salt, complaining that their food was always bland. Shigeru found this rude and called her out on it. They all had dinner together. After they finished, Altina told Genzo that the Demon King from another world had attacked a nearby orc village. Genzo confirmed he knew about it and mentioned the Demon King's name was Mao, which surprised all the girls. Princess Altina warned them about the potential dangers the Demon King could cause next. Just as tensions were high, Genzo prioritized walking his dog over spending time with Altina, which left her more blue-balled than any incel. However, when Genzo went outside, he realized something terrible. Hiroyuki, his beloved dog, went to buy dog milk. Meanwhile, Mao stumbled upon one of Genzo's tournament flyers, which gave him a clue about Genzo's whereabouts. Then, Klaus arrived and revealed that Hiroyuki was at the mansion of a noble. The noble had bought Hiroyuki for his daughter and was unwilling to give him back. Determined to secure Hiroyuki's release, Altina set off on a journey back to the castle to find funds. However, upon her return, she found herself alone, as everyone had already left. Feeling disheartened, she returned home. Meanwhile, Genzo was surprised to find Joanna, Rose, and Mao waiting for him in his shop. Their presence reignited old rivalries, leading to petty arguments among Rose, Carmilla, Joanna, and Hanako. However, their bickering was interrupted when Mao challenged Genzo to a final showdown. Perceiving Mao's challenge as an opportunity for an exciting match, Joanna felt compelled to challenge Hanako as well. Seeing the potential for an exhilarating spectacle, Klaus suggested incorporating their intense bouts into the next tournament. This idea was met with unanimous agreement. Putting aside her pride, Carmilla secretly sought Genzo's guidance and training in wrestling. She hoped that by improving her skills, she could finally defeat Rose and achieve victory. As everyone prepared for the big wrestling tournament, Genzo decided to help Carmilla improve her wrestling skills. He wasn't sure how to train her though, as she was as good as Mr. Satan in fighting. While Genzo focused on Carmilla, Klaus, and Shiger worked on making the wrestling ring better for the audience. They wanted to ensure everyone enjoyed the matches. Genzo came up with a plan for the tournament, which included 5 exciting matches. Surprisingly, the tournament included unexpected fighters like Misha, Wolfgang, and even Princess Altina. The most anticipated fight was between Genzo and Mao, which made everyone excited. In the first match, Heat Hayes and Altina fought together against tough demon beasts from Joanna's army, showing great teamwork and skill. Despite tough opponents, they came out on top, and Altina surprisingly enjoyed the attention of the crowd, even though it involved public embarrassment. In the second match, the Kobold husband and the Orc King faced strong Cyclopes from Joanna's army. They used their strength and smart tactics to win, showing they could beat tough challenges. As the tournament progressed, Misha and Wolfgang fought hard against giant King Kong beasts from Joanna's army in the third round. Unfortunately, they quickly realized they were no match for the gorilla strength and speed of their opponents, and they lost the match. In the fourth round, Carmilla stepped up, eager to show off the wrestling skills she had learned from Genzo as she faced off against the tough opponent Rose. As the fight unfolded, Carmilla felt proud of how much she had improved and showed off her new strength, flooring Rose like Yamcha in every battle. But just when she thought she had won, Rose surprised her with a powerful move, knocking Carmilla out cold. Despite the loss, Genzo praised the intense match and Carmilla's efforts. Hanako saw Carmilla's determination and congratulated her for fighting with pride, considering it a win in her own way. Overwhelmed with happiness, Carmilla found comfort in knowing she had given her all. With the tournament almost over, the final showdown between Genzo and Mao approached, promising an epic battle. The wrestling tournament reached the part where popcorn would be in high demand, with everyone eagerly awaiting the final match between Genzo and Mao. Hanako, sensing the tension, shared her worries with Joanna, expressing concerns about what might happen next. As the match began, Mao burst with anger, accusing Genzo of avoiding him in the past. Amid their intense wrestling moves, they found time to talk, revealing how they had ended up in this strange world and sharing their struggles. Joanna and Rose, watching closely, started to wonder if Mao was as smart as they thought, fearing he might not be making the best decisions as their chosen leader. In an unexpected turn of events, Mao confessed to peeing his pants when he sees animals, shocking Joanna and Rose. Seeing an opportunity, they took Hiroyuki, Genzo's dog that was also his dog, using him as a bargaining chip. What was supposed to be a simple showdown between Genzo and Mao soon escalated into a chaotic fight involving not just the two rivals, but also the Beastmen and the Hunters. As the battle reached its peak, chaos erupted all around as Genzo and Mao engaged in a fierce showdown. In the end, Genzo emerged as the victor, showcasing his strength and skill yet again. With their long-awaited rematch now over, Mao, surprisingly in good spirits, expressed his readiness for another fight in the future, hinting at a sense of closure to their rivalry. The hero army was declared the winners, leaving a lasting impression on everyone who witnessed the epic spectacle. As Joanna prepared to depart, Hanako reminded her of her role as an observer of the hero, cautioning against any further involvement. Hanako felt the weight of responsibility as she vowed to uphold her duty. Meanwhile, Shigeru, initially frustrated by the misuse of tournament profits, found comfort in the unity and understanding forged between humans and beastmen through the event. Embracing a newfound perspective, Shigeru let go of her frustrations, recognizing the positive impact the wrestling tournament had on the community. Princess Altina, unexpectedly drawn to the excitement of the tournament, eagerly awaited the next installment, anticipating the spectacle that awaited about people pounding faces and making the dentist rich. Meanwhile, Mao set off, determined to continue his personal journey of growth and training. As the commotion settled and the excitement of the tournament faded, Genzo and his companions found themselves settling back into their routine.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Yet, a new job opportunity arose, quite a troubling task involving a minotaur that demanded their experience points. With determination from Undertale in their hearts, Genzo and his friends geared up, ready to confront this new challenge head-on. They prepared to embark on another adventure into the unknown. Thanks for watching this recap video on Genzo and his friends. If you enjoyed the excitement and laughs, be sure to subscribe for more adventures. Stay tuned for what comes next. Don't forget to like and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Stay awesome and don't practice these moves at home. See you next time.